is presented by AutoTrader. Finally, it's easy.
Some breaking news in the NBA. Kyrie Irving will be out today. Brooklyn Nets hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. Hamstring is the situation. They're 13-13 without Kyrie. Let's check in on one of the 14 games that we have on tap for you today. The first one, Detroit is in the nation's capital. Washington up by 2. You can see first quarter is underway, more than halfway through. Derrick Rose already
Derrick Rose
with 9 points.
K-Mac, Derrick Rose, I'm taking my hat off to him, the way he's playing.
Me too.
It's unreal.
There are a lot of teams could use Derrick Rose right now, and I'm not sure the Detroit Pistons aren't close to saying we need to start over again.
Ooh, that could be good for Derrick.
Yes.
Playoff situation maybe on the horizon
Be really
for him.
good for a lot of teams, too, that he
true.
would go to.
Bradley Beal with 10 points already in the first quarter for the Wizards. As I mentioned, the NBA has a long-standing tradition of celebrating Martin Luther King on this holiday. And from today through Friday, all the teams are wearing custom NBA Nike MLK Day warm-up shirts designed in collaboration with the NBPA, MLK Foundation, and Martin Luther King III. The shirts are available for sale on NBAstore.com, and all NBA proceeds will go to the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. Here's a recap for you if you missed this game that just ended. Toronto was up by as many as 21 in the fourth quarter, and then Trae Young went off for 42 points. It's his second career performance of 40 or more points, 15 or more assists. And Norman Powell for the Raptors, he helped keep his team afloat for his 5th straight 20-point performance, all since his return from his shoulder injury. Let's listen to him after the game.
Before we talk about the way you took control of the game, what happened late, do you think, in your mind?
I think we just took our foot off the gas. We got to do a better job of not getting sped up when they're trying to press. I got to do a better job of controlling the game and slowing us down and getting us set so we can continue to play.
First 2/3 of the game, the ball didn't find you that much, and then you took over. Is patience part of what's made you become such a better player this year?
Yeah, it's all about taking what the defense gives you, and sticking to the game plan. I've been trying to do a great job with that. I'm not too worried about when my shots are coming, just going with the flow of the game. Really focusing on the defensive end and then letting everything else take over by instincts.
And I know it's not lost on you guys playing on this day, MLK Day, in this city. How was that?
It was amazing, man. I take pride in being able to play on MLK Day. He's one of the great role models I looked up to when I was growing up. I did a lot of school reports, book reports on MLK and his message. So it feels good to be able to play for him.
Philly and Brooklyn, it's a close one, 1-point differential. Al Horford knocks down the 3-ball. Just over a minute left to play in that game. We'll be back.
Nice.
Checking back in again. Philadelphia and Brooklyn. Korkmaz with the 3.
Nice ball movement on there.
Philly goes up 113-108, 23.4 seconds left. What a game. Ben Simmons, as I mentioned, triple-double, 34, 12, and 12. Horford with 19 and 6. You can see Dinwiddie for the Brooklyn Nets leading the way with 19, 7 assists, 5 boards. As a reminder, no Kyrie Irving for this game. You can see just about to be finished.
I'm impressed with that type of triple-double. 34, 12, and 12. 12 for 14
on the road.
Field on the road. Give Ben Simmons a lot of credit without Joel Embiid willing his team to this victory. Maybe they still got 23 seconds left.
But they needed it too because they've been stumbling a little bit, so that's a big win for the Sixers.
Yeah, they've won 3 straight, but as you mentioned, it hasn't been pretty. So they're expected to be higher in the standings at this point in the season. So this hopefully will help catapult them on the other side of that equation. The Brooklyn Nets also had expectations for themselves, and they are not finding themselves in victory lane. I would like to thank you guys for sticking around for this MLK Day holiday. We thank you guys at home, too. One last thought for you all. Anything you're looking forward to for the 3 games that we've got left on TNT?
That Laker-Boston game.
That'll be a fun game.
Just want a fun game. I just want to see how the Boston Celtics approach playing against those bigs. They got Howard, Davis, if he plays, and also JaVale McGee.
Yeah, I think they're going to have trouble because the Celtics aren't long. And one thing about the game we just saw, the Atlanta game, if you're the coaching staff for Atlanta, you can go to those guys and say, look, we had 24 turnovers that we gave up, 33 points to the second-best team in the Eastern Conference. We're okay, guys. We just got to take care of ourselves. It's always easier when you can look at your team and say, once we correct these things, we can win. It's hard to look at your team and go like, hey, we got to make a lot more shots. You can control turnovers. So good for Atlanta. Hopefully they're going to turn the corner here soon.
Awesome. Well, happy MLK Day. Go on over to TNT. EJ, Shaq, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley are waiting for you. For Kevin, Smitty, I'm Stephanie. See you next time. Pascal Siakam with his 24 points per game helping lead his team to victory. Quite often, Toronto Raptors sitting in the third position. They've won 3 straight, and you've seen the offense in those last 3 games. They have been on a tear. Their opponent tonight, the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, top 5 in points and assists, still trying to figure out how to translate those stats into wins. Can they figure that out before it's too late?
Well, you can shoot the ball from the seats. I see that. That's a hell of a shot. Oh, this kid made a kid do push-ups. There you go. At it, baby, Trae. He said, if I make this shot, you got to give me 10.
He's working them out, too.
He's not letting him do 9. He's doing 10.
If I'm not mistaken, that's his little brother.
That's adorable. That makes it even better.
I like it.
Exactly.
I love that. It's a family affair.
If I make it, you should give me 10.
And he dropped down, too. No hustle.
Yeah.
All right, glad you guys are back with us. I'm Stephanie Reddy. We've got Steve Smith and Kevin McHale here in the building to help you get ready for this afternoon game. In fact, we've got a treat for you. These 2 experts are going to break down their keys to the game, and the keys to the game are presented by AutoZone. Coach, we'll start with you.
Yeah, right now, if you are the Toronto Raptors, you just got to keep the ball rolling, and the fact that you're getting 31 assists a game, you're absolutely just playing, lights out offensively, shooting the ball, and then concentrate on your D. Sometimes, Smitty, how it goes, you start playing so good offensively that you're like, man, we let the D slide a little bit. But just concentrate on your defense. And then now for Coach Nick Nurse, who's doing a tremendous job up there, you can get your rotation set, because what's happening now, everybody's back healthy, and you can't be playing 12, 13 people. You got to get your 8, 9 guys, get your rotation set, and start prepping now for what you're going to do next spring. So I'm excited about this Raptors team.
And Smitty, you had the Hawks.
Well, and I start off, Kevin and Stephanie, you talk about turnovers. The Hawks are like one of the worst teams. I think they're 30th. And so they're not going to fix that in this game. But I don't want the live ball turnovers. I want the turnovers where I kick it off my foot and it goes out of bounds and we can set our defense. So cut down the live ball turnovers. Shot selection, that's your defense today. When you're playing a team that's superior than you and in the record and they're a better team, your shots basically turns into your defense. So they're wild shots, no one gets back, so have great shot selection. Last, I want Trae Young to be more like Patrick Mahomes.
Who?
I do
Patrick
too.
Mahomes. And the reason why I say that.
I do too. I'm all for that.
And the reason why I say he can control turnovers. You're like the quarterback.
Yeah.
You can control shot selection. Of the others, I can give Kevin the basketball with 2 seconds left, or I can penetrate and go up and get Kevin a good shot, whether he makes it or not. He's got to be Patrick Mahomes and for them to be able to win this game today.
So you want him to control the
Tempo, pace, everything. That's what the quarterback does, and the point guard.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can do it.
I'd
That would
love
be
to see
exciting,
that.
too, by the way, right?
I like Patrick Mahomes. Let me tell you something. Kansas City's going to be tough to beat in the Super Bowl.
Fun to watch. All right, someone who we have not talked about yet for the Toronto Raptors, but who has been a huge piece of the puzzle, Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
We haven't even mentioned him yet today. Remember, he was the man before Kawhi Leonard got there, and he's helping keep this team together. How about an all-star turning into a glue guy? Kyle Lowry. It's the only show in town tomorrow on Tuesday, right here on NBA TV, the lone game in the NBA. The Clippers and the Mavericks, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. with the warm-up. Don't miss it.
Oh, that's going to be a good game.
It's time now to take a look at the starting lineups presented by Auto Trader. The Raptors at 28-14 start Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet, who's just recently returned back from his injury. And, of course, Siakam and Gasol, as well as Powell, are back. But OG Anunoby is getting the start. And for the Atlanta Hawks at 10-33, Trae Young leads the way in more than one category. Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, and John Collins, who we all thought was going to be part of a dynamic duo with Trae Young. So, gentlemen, while I have your attention, What are your thoughts on this game tonight? What are you expecting to see, and do you have a prediction?
Well, I'm going to go with John Collins. The reason why is I think he's in his third year. I think he's, what's his age, 22? And I look at Marc Gasol's 34. You got to run him. And when I mean you got to run him, not just the scores for you, you got to run him so my teammate can get an open shot. Because if he sprints down and a guard has to pick him up, that means another guard, for the Atlanta Hawks should have an isolation with Marc Gasol, and that's going to be the key for me. He has to make plays without scoring, but for others, and I think he's got to do it with his legs.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I'm really glad you mentioned Kyle Lowry, because Kyle's kind of been steadying that ship. A lot of injuries, he got hurt a little bit, but Kyle's just matured a ton in his career. He found out one thing, Smitty, that we all found out at some point. Winning is the best deodorant in the entire history of mankind, because all those smells go away when you win. And he understands now that winning just is everything. He's just committed to it. And tonight again, Kyle will do whatever it takes. He's made big shots for his team. He'll pass the ball. Everybody's coming back healthy. He'll distribute. He's kind of got over. It's got to be about me, and it's about us. And I love to see Kyle play this way, because he just goes out there and just does what he needs to do. And kudos to him, because a few years ago I coached him, and we had a lot of those discussions. Didn't always go the way I wanted it to, but he's really made a big push.
Yes.
He's a world champion, defending world champ.
That makes a big difference, and you can see it too. The NBA fan can see those things. You see when a player starts to mature and develop as an all-around player and not just as a scoring athlete. So. Good job, Kyle Lowry. Excellent job for the Toronto Raptors, obviously coming off of the championship. It's time now to throw it to the home of the Atlanta Hawks at State Farm Arena, where our friends are broadcasting. Bob Rathman, Dominique Wilkins, and Andre Aldridge have the call. Enjoy the game.
Dominate.
In his third season, joined up front by Pascal Siakam and Marc Gasol. The veteran backcourt of Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. These are the guys that won it all last year, of course, over Golden State. The Hawks will counter with their small lineup. That means John Collins at the center position, Trey at the point, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, and Cam Reddish, as we are ready for basketball on this King Holiday Monday afternoon from downtown Atlanta. Partner, great to be with you.
Absolutely. This is a wonderful day and a great occasion. This is what we all strive to be, something special, and Dr. King has really made the way for a lot of people of every color.
Lowry's miss, taken back by Anunoby. Here is Siakam firing and missing in the rebound to Collins. Here come the Hawks, trying to get the bad taste of that Saturday performance against Detroit out of their mouths. Huerter missing a three, and Siakam with the rebound.